Saturday night. It is going to be a very low-key Saturday night for me because I am just going to be hanging around at home tonight with my son. Um, we'll probably watch some Queer Eye, which is our thing to do when we're together. Cook some dinner, that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to it. Again, this week's been really busy for me, and I've had a lot of obligations, and I'm going to have a lot of obligations next week, so I'm trying to just take it a little slow this weekend as much as I can. Um, I have a lot on my mind, um, but these videos shouldn't be too exhaustive or long, but I do want to be kind of open about what's on my mind. And I think maybe, I don't know, a week or so ago, maybe longer, I mentioned in one of these videos that kind of going through the process of kind of altering a friendship that is not serving me anymore. And that's been kind of a little bit of a long process, not actually very dramatic, but just that I've been busy and there have been a lot of things going on, but there's just been this lingering kind of thing hanging over me that a friendship that I've had for a while um, just got to this point slowly where it just wasn't feeling really healthy and affirming anymore. And I am the type of person who doesn't typically make changes like that unless there's some real reason to. I don't tend to go toward, I don't have tumultuous relationships. I am kind of a quiet introvert. I do tend to be empathic and I take care of other people's needs often before mine. And that's been a lesson that I've had to learn. And I've had to learn how to use my voice and kind of when to use my voice and when not to use my voice. And again, to not stuff things to where I might be more reactive, but to kind of start to really respond to my inner voice, which allows me to use my outer voice in a way that is assertive and is loving to myself, but also loving to the other person. And so all that said, kind of feeds into how I've responded to this situation. And, and without kind of revealing too much about it, just saying that it's something that just has felt not quite as loving and healthy as it used to for me. And wanting to honor that friendship, but also making some changes in how it's expressed. And so that's been kind of heavy on my mind a little bit, kind of, again, here and there, over the last, say, 2 weeks. And so I've had also some interactions with my ex-husband and with my children that just feel kind of meaningful and just a lot kind of going on, I guess, in my head and my heart. And so this morning I went to a yoga class, and I haven't been to yoga in a while. And I had come to believe really strongly that yoga is a really important part of the work that I am doing on myself, again, right now, kind of my health path. But the last couple of months or so, I've been kind of on a budgetary constraint. I haven't been back to yoga because I needed to buy class passes and all that. I went on a yoga retreat, which was great, but I haven't gone to a yoga class per se in a while. And today I went to a yoga event that just really brought out some stuff. And I've mentioned before about the book, The Body Keeps the Score, and we know that our bodies hold stuff and our emotions get stuck. And you can look at that from so many different spiritual ways of thinking about things, so many practices that are mind-body practices that some people may or may not believe in, but there's so many ways of looking at that. right? Like, so there could be things, again, like trauma being stored in the body from kind of a neurological or a neurophysiological point of view. Or it can be things like your chakra is not flowing through, right? Something gets stuck in a particular chakra and you have to do some work on that. There's so many, those are just a couple of examples. Anyway, I have really found that part of what makes yoga really special for me is not only the mindfulness that it brings me and kind of that mind-body connection, but it does something for me emotionally. And it's something that feels really healthy to me. Anyway, I went to this yoga class today and I had another experience like I've had actually with Reiki sessions, which is healing touch. But today I had this experience where I was doing just kind of run-of-the-mill yoga, felt good, and then I just started feeling kind of tearful. And then when we were doing Shavasana, which is like, of course I might have slayed the word, but when they call it the corpse pose, where you just lay flat and you just breathe. My yoga instructor, who also happens to be a friend, came to me as I was laying and pushed my shoulders back. And just kind of gently, but firmly, just so that my shoulders would be in contact with the ground, just like the rest of my body was. And in that kind of opens my heart. And I just started crying for just, I don't know why. And I just felt the tears kind of flowing, and I just laid there in this quiet pose, and I just felt that emotional thing. And I left that yoga class feeling like there's something that needs to come out of me right now. And I just kind of sat with it. I got a little guidance from a girlfriend, kind of talked it through, and I made a phone call in which I really just expressed myself to this friend that I've been needing to say some things to. But I had to I'm looking down because I had to kind of write myself out, not only some notes about what it is I really wanted to say, but also I had to give myself the self-talk that so many of us need to give before we say something that comes from the heart. And what I said to myself was, this was just like stream of consciousness. I wrote, I deserve to express myself. I have a voice, and I have feelings that are valid. How many people struggle with those three statements? How many people struggle with being able to believe those things enough that they say what they need to say in a way that's assertive? I was just teaching class to social work students this week, and we were talking about assertiveness. It's such an important concept to be thinking about, how to express yourself in a way that's clear, healthy, and non-aggressive, that serves both your needs and the person that's receiving them. But sometimes it starts with saying those things to yourself, as I did to myself without really even thinking about it before I made that phone call. I deserve to express myself. I have a voice. I have feelings that are valid. And lo and behold, I made the phone call. I had a really meaningful conversation with this friend in which we kind of exchanged our ideas about what was happening and what needed to change. And we kind of closed the door on things. And I think that was super healthy. And had we ghosted each other, had we just stuffed our feelings, or maybe had we kind of kept, kind of spending time together in the way that wasn't feeling right without really identifying it, I don't know what those outcomes would be. But I know that when I hung up the phone today, I felt free. I felt like I had expressed myself. I felt like I had been heard. And I felt like things kind of came to the conclusion that they needed to come to. And in a way that I still have warm regard for this friend, and I believe they do for me as well. And that feels like a frickin' win. And so that's where my thoughts are right now. I feel like I can go to sleep tonight feeling a little bit lighter. And that the thing that I've learned once again is that by doing body work, not just mind work, not just breathing, not just journal writing, but really body work through yoga, and I think also Reiki has helped me in the past, I get in touch with feelings that sometimes might just get stuck. And I'm so grateful that I have discovered that. And I'm so grateful that I went to that class this morning and was there with a group of people that just felt randomly together, kind of supporting each other, and with an instructor who just happened to know that what I needed in that moment was to open my heart. And then the feelings came. That feels fucking good. So that's where my thoughts are tonight. I'm just feeling like I'm continuing to move forward in a way that feels authentic to me. And there may be a little sadness or, maybe a whatever, but I don't feel sad. I feel pretty good. So I'm going to have a great night with my son, and we're going to, enjoy each other's company and watch some wonderful affirming television, which you don't hear very often, I guess, nowadays. And I'm going to go to sleep tonight with a calm heart. So the mind-body practice that I am going to talk about tonight is what I just talked about, which is yoga. And the thing is, I haven't really gotten to the point where I will pull out my yoga mat at home and do like anything in any great detail. But I do think that there's something to be said for, really that Shavasana. Hope I got that right. But the just laying down and opening your heart and just breathing through those feelings. I do think that the tree pose for me feels really good. It's so challenging because balance is not just a physiological concept, but I think that balance and focus are concepts that are also in the heart and the head. And so I have found during the kind of shortish months that I've been doing yoga, that the tree pose can be more challenging to me when I feel out of balance in my heart and my head. And the tree pose is, I think I've demonstrated it a long time ago in this video, but it's just standing and placing, well, maybe I can kind of demonstrate it here, but my computer might fall on the ground. So let's see. Is standing with, one leg, the foot kind of against either, one leg is straight. The standing leg is firm and rooted with the toes on the ground, and lifting the other leg, placing the foot either against, like flat-ish against the ankle, or if, the calf, or even toward the knee or the thigh, depending on how flexible a person is. And just, having your hands to your heart, or there are a lot of ways you can do this, but that works for me. And just finding that root in the standing foot and opening your hips and just feeling firm and standing in tree pose and finding a way to focus somewhere out in the distance that, again, challenges not only your physiological ability to balance, but also your ability to just focus and find the strength within yourself and feel rooted on the ground, grounded truly, which is why they call it tree pose. I love it. And so that one's one. So that's my mind-body practice. Tonight before I go to bed, after my son's asleep and I'm ready to go to bed, I'm going to pull out my yoga mat and do both of those. And I'm going to do the tree pose first and just find some focus. And then I'm going to end laying prone. I'm going to leave my palms up. In other words, feeling open to what's coming to me and making sure my shoulders are making contact with the ground underneath me. So that's what's on my mind. Feeling really pretty good. And you can tell my chair rolls. It's a rolling chair that I sit on, which I love. The song I'm going to add to my playlist tonight is yet another really special song to me. It's a song by a group of musicians who call themselves Junip, like juniper, but without the ER. One of whom is Jose Gonzalez, who is a Swedish singer-songwriter whose music I absolutely love. But there's a song called Line of Fire, which is really a special song to me. And I'm going to post that song to my playlist, add that to my playlist, because it's a song about kind of reckoning painful stuff, basically. And kind of stepping back and looking at the life that you've created for yourself and just trying to kind of find some some reconciliation with that, whatever it may be. So it's a song that's just got some meaningful spirit to it. So now I'm gonna go hang out with my boy.